Okay, hi everyone, this is InsideFlix, and we're going to be doing our weekly box office report. So it seems it wasn't the greatest weekend for Shazam fans, but Rich, you tell us, which films made the top 5 this past weekend at the box office?
The number one film in America this St. Patrick's Day weekend was Shazam! Fury of the Gods with 30.1 million. Coming in number 2 was Scream 6 with 17.3 million. Number 3 was Creed 3 with 15.3 million. Number 4 was 65 with 5.8 million. Number 5 was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with 4.2 million.
So Shazam! Fury of the Gods did about what the studio predicted, which is to say it performed quite poorly at the box office.
No, I think they said at first it would be like 35 million. They're expecting even more, so it came even less than what they expected.
And it not only underperformed domestically, but also globally, falling short of projections for its overseas box office numbers. So what's your guys' feelings about this? What does this say about this particular franchise?
It's dead. I mean, it's shocking because like the first Shazam, while not a massive success, they were able to keep that budget low, and it was extremely well received by the people who saw it. Mm-hmm. So the sequel made sense, and they still kept it moderately cheap, but it still needed it to make more than the first movie, and this came just way below. Just like a little over half of what the first made, and that's crazy. I guess I can't be too surprised because I think the marketing for the movie has been really bad. Yeah. I mean, I love the first Shazam, and I didn't go see Fury of the Gods, and I was actually kind of looking forward to the movie because I think there's premise in it, but the marketing just never hooked me.
Yeah, but you'll eventually see it this week anyway. But
maybe.
Yeah. It seems like superhero failure to me, and it's another monster slow weekend, and this is, I mean, it's really sad when Morbius opened larger than this film.
Well, director David F. Sandberg did say that he's kind of done with superheroes for now. This really took a toll on him, although he said that he's very proud of both of these movies, both Shazam films. But I guess, like when you deal with these type of properties and you get a lot of flack on Twitter or social media, I'm sure it's going to take a toll. I don't know, what was the critics' response to this movie compared to the audience, Rich?
Critic-wise, it was, in Rotten Tomatoes, it was under, but fan-wise, they enjoyed it. So
the people who did see it did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think what Raymond is saying about the marketing of this film was pretty lacking. And it really felt like there was no really big support from Warner Brothers or anything, which I found shocking because are they going to do the same thing with the Flash movie, for instance?
I don't think so. I mean, I think they're really, I think they actually believe in that movie.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they have Michael Keaton returning, I mean, that's a big selling point.
And if they're willing to let Tom Cruise see it, just to get good word of mouth from him for the film,
the fact that Tom Cruise saw the Flash was even kind of even a better marketing idea than anything that they did for this new Shazam film, right? So it's odd how much of this was kind of left out there to really kind of die on the vine. I think what happens here is you got a really fractured DC fan base. They're the ones who are kind of driving the marketing, the word of mouth and stuff, and that I think it hurts ultimately.
Shazam definitely never won over all of the DC fans. It was for a lot of them was a little too family friendly, and this one, according to critics at least, is kind of leaned more into that.
Like you said, it really feels like this is the last film of the Shazam character.
And also, I don't want to be harsh on Zachary Levi, but I think there's also a lack of star power. I mean, if they had an actor. And I like Zachary Levi as Shazam. I think he's great in the movie, but I mean, I think if they had somebody that was a bit more kind of known or a bit more of a name, it would help a lot. And usually star power, that we say that doesn't really matter when it comes to the superhero movies, but I don't know, maybe Shazam is proof that it does matter a little, at least.
Well, it wouldn't hurt if they had a bigger star there.
Well, Zachary Levi is definitely a brilliant voice actor. As far as being an actor on screen, he should stay with television because he's way too animated himself. Most critics were saying that his alter ego, Billy Batson, who played by Asher Angel. They were saying that he was playing more of an adult role than Zachary Levi.
Yeah, I mean, the first movie, you could kind of say that about the first movie as well.
Well, let's now talk about Scream 6. It had a 61% drop. Pretty common for a horror movie, but I don't know. This is a little bit bigger than I thought.
It's bigger than I was expecting. Yeah, it's bigger than I expected.
Yeah, so it seems like it doesn't have that much legs, but I think overall it's still going to be a franchise best. It's making a ton of money, and I think ultimately it's going to be the most profitable film in the franchise.
Yeah, but what is surprising, or maybe not surprising to many, but to me, is how strong legs Creed 3 has, because that is a great drop for its third weekend, and it's like, you know, coming in at 15 million. I mean, this is an impressive third weekend for Creed.
Yeah, true, and it's worldwide. It's doing really well, over 200 million. Worldwide is very impressive for that film and this whole franchise. That we'll see what Michael Jordan's got next for Creed 4. I mean, eventually they'll be announcing it soon.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the rest of the top 10.
Coming in number 6 is Cocaine Bear. Number 7 is Jesus Revolution. Number 8 is Champions. Number 9 is Avatar: The Way of Water. And number 10 film is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
All right, now let's look at this week's releases. Rich, tell us what films are coming out this weekend.
Open up wide this weekend is John Wick, Chapter 4, the latest installment in the much-anticipated action film franchise starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, martial artist legend Donnie Yen, and pop singer Rina Sawayana, with Ian McShane and the late, great Lance Reddick. Also opening is A Good Person, the new Zach Braff drama that stars Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman as two grieving people who form an unlikely friendship. Opening up on limited release is The Lost King, a new British drama based on the true events, starring Shape of Water Sally Hawkins as the unlikely woman who discovered the lost location of Richard III's gravesite. Also opening in limited is The Tutor, the new suspense thriller that stars Garrett Hudlin as a private tutor who finds himself being stalked by his newest teenage student, played by Stranger Things actor Noah Schnapp.
All right, we got to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. This was kind of probably the most hyped up film of March, and I think it's probably going to be the biggest film of this month. But, you know, do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's got the most potential. I mean, but it is rated R film. But still, everyone's saying that it's going to open huge. So,
but you guys don't think the 3-hour runtime is going to hurt it? Because I mean, the last one was the last one was huge. It opened to almost 57 million, but it was only 2 hours and 10 minutes. And 2 hours and 10 minutes, I mean, for myself personally, I like John Wick 3, but I felt the movie was already a little too long. And I mean, this new one's 3 hours. I mean, I know I'm just speaking for myself, but. But I mean, 3 hours is a long movie. just seeing Keanu Reeves running around shooting people. I mean,
I think people are going to be surprised that it's going to be 3 hours, and I think once they get into the theaters and go realize that, oh wow, this is a long movie. So I think it's going to help. It's going to hurt in maybe the second, third week, but I think the opening weekend is going to do very well. I think it's going to have a huge probably Friday and Saturday, maybe a slow Sunday, but I think it's going to do a franchise best because that seems to be the trend. You know, despite the numbers for Shazam, but I think it's been the trend to, you know, have these movies come out and be the franchise best. So I think I'm expecting that's going to happen with this one.
Plus, I also heard that the third act is probably the best act of the whole film. So that's, if you're going to be in a 3-hour movie, that's the best time to enjoy a film. And audiences, I mean, since Avatar, audiences are ready for a 3-hour film, no matter what.
So, what do you guys think is going to open at? I mean, the last one did open almost 57. Do you guys think this is going to be over 75 million?
I don't know, 75. I think it's around 65, around there, 65. I think there's a lot of anticipation for this movie. I think this franchise have just kind of grown over the years, and I think people kind of first they love Keanu Reeves as a person, kind of has that Brendan Fraser appeal. People just love him as a person, and I think they love him as this character. All right, Rich, now tell us about streaming. What can we stream this weekend?
Streaming on Amazon will be Reggie, a new baseball documentary that examines the career and legacy of Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson. Also on Peacock, Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan's latest mystery horror thriller, makes its streaming debut.
Before we go, let's say a quick words about Lance Reddick. Here's a character actor who's very much is known for his part in John Wick.
Mhm.
You know, hearing that he passed away last week was a shocker. What was your thoughts on actor Lance Reddick?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a total shocker. I mean, to be passing away at around 60 and probably in the top of his career. I mean, this is the fourth film from John Wick series, and he already, luckily for us, he already wrapped on this John Wick spinoff, Ballerina. So we'll be seeing him again, but man, yeah, it's a big loss for as far as fans. He was at his peak of his career, basically. So it's just sad. It's just really sad that he passes away right at a time that was really good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total surprise, and yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it is a huge loss. It's very sad. I mean, he had such an iconic voice. You know what I mean? He every movie he worked in, he kind of lit it up, and it's sad.
Yeah, I think it's sad. It's also very tragic. I think part of it has to do with the fact that, here is a guy who's on the really verge of really breaking out and becoming a really great character actor. Not that he wasn't a great character actor before, but I think there was certainly a film out there or a TV role out there that would have made him like a better household name. But I was shocked that a lot of people were shocked about it, because he kind of was, to me, I felt like he was an unappreciated character actor. I loved him in The Wire. I loved him in he was in Fringe. He was in a lot of great TV shows, and he appeared in these kind of small parts in films. And yeah, he's probably best known for John Wick, but I was watching a couple videos of him online recently, and he was talking about how he came up with the character for John Wick, and he came up with two kind of sources of inspiration. One was Alfred, the butler, and the Batman's butler.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, which I thought was genius, Hector Elizondo in Pretty Woman. And how those two characters kind of formed on how the way he was going to play the character. And I thought that was brilliant. That's exactly what his character is in John Wick. It's kind of is an amalgam of those two characters. And I think, like what Ray was saying about his voice, he did a lot of video games and stuff like that. Yeah, he definitely be missed. Fortunately, he has completed a lot of projects, and so we'll get to see him again in a couple of things. But yeah, it's just a really shocker that he passed away a week ago, and really ironic that John Wick comes out this week. So
yeah, and I really like the quick story of him. I remember him saying that he was walking down the street in New York City, and out of the blue, someone approaches to him and says, "Great actor," and he turns around to see that it was Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that was just the boost that he needed at the time, and that's exactly what he was, a great actor. So they both were actually. So, but
yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick. He will be missed. All right, that's it for this box office report. Thank you for watching InsideFlix, and we'll be back next week. We'll talk about how well John Wick 4 does in the box office, and we'll talk about the new movies coming out that week. All right. Thank you, and bye-bye.